Robbie the Wagner, and Adam Thomas Argyle, the nerd.
What's up? I'm here.
You are here. Do you know who else is here? Could you tell us?
You know I can. We've got a guest today, Zach Lloyd, founder and CEO of Warp, former principal engineer at Google, cutting his teeth on Google Docs and Sheets and real-time collaborative productivity software for a while now. He's a latency hunter, multi-user editor, CLI cowboy, command line oracle, symphonic agentic orchestrator, and as we'll soon learn, I assume, the Wizard of Oz. Welcome back, Zach. Stoked to hear what you've been up to.
That was, I think it's the best intro I've ever gotten. That was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's been a minute, but yeah, I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Adam does really great intros, and it makes me want to just not even do the rest of the show because how could we top that? But
I can just go if you want. That was great.
Yeah, well, so we do start this with whiskey every time. So today we've got, let's see, I can't see myself, so I don't know if I'm showing you this. There we go.
There it is.
Lagavulin 16. It is 16 years old, as it sounds like it is. It is 86 proof. The open claw that I told to give me stuff about this did a bad job. But yeah, so it's a Lagavulin. It's probably smoky. It's scotchy. Seems cool. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, it's heavily peated. They had it rated at 35 ppm. Interesting things. It's one of the slowest distillations that they have. They trade speed for depth and complexity. And I'm like, they're obviously not web developers, right? Trading speed for, come on. We're all about speed here. And this is Nick Offerman's favorite whiskey of all time. It's like in all of his episodes, he talks about it. He has gone to the distillery. Anyway, let's give it a shot.
Let's do it. Oh, do you have a toast for us, Adam?
I do. You know I do. Okay. To the agents that build while we sip, may your loops stay tight, your logic stay sharp, and your code never warp. Wink. Unless it's straight to production. Cheers to the robots doing the heavy lifting while we handle the heavy pouring. Cheers, y'all.
Nice. Love it. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, very smoky. Lots of notes of smoke.
That's yummy.
Oh, that is so good. They thought this was like not going to be their number one. They thought this was going to be a niche like creation, and they thought it was too smoky. And then it went crazy viral like in the early 2000s. And then again, a few years later, won more awards. And man, that is really good.
It's good. I like the smokiness, and it's not too peaty. And I don't know, it's clean. It has some sweetness, a little bit of like appliness maybe.
Definitely some apple.
Yeah, I've been pretty pleased. Like, I'm not usually a Scotch guy, and I've liked all the Lagavulins I've had. Caitlin likes them because she really likes smoky stuff. So, good ones to choose.
The first time I had the kind of like younger Lagavulin was I was smoking butts and ribs for my friends, and they brought it over, and I smelled like smoke. I'd been up since like 5 a.m, and I sipped it, and I was like, this tastes like me. This tastes like the smoker outside. And I was so happy because I love that smell. I like never want to get it off my clothes. And I'm like, it's in it. It's in a whiskey. I could just, oh, it's so good. I was very happy.
Yeah, cool. So we have a very stringent rating system on this show. It is 0 to 8 tentacles, 0 being the worst, 8 being the best, 4 or 5-ish something middle of the road. Because, yeah, we started at 0 because we're developers and we thought we were cool. But anyway, Adam, would you like to go first?
I'm hitting the 7s. It's definitely smoother than the 8. And I'm just really happy with the resting flavors in my mouth. I'm gonna cherish this bottle. Let's give it a 7.7 because I don't know what 8 is yet.
Wow.
I can't go there yet, but 7.7.
Okay.
Give me more. Yeah,
All
this is
right.
like clear the shelves. Put more of this on there. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Great review from Adam. What do you think, Zach?
I think this is really good. I don't have like a good vocabulary for Scotch. I don't think it is definitely smoky. It's still pretty smooth. It's yeah. This is a 7.4 for me. It's very, very good.
All right. Yeah, this is pretty good for me as well. I've had so many whiskeys, I have a hard time figuring out what to rate it against. But I don't have anything bad to say about it, so I don't see why it couldn't be a 7.5-ish. So we'll just stay in that same range, 7.5.
Yeah, it's tasty.
Sick. Well,
All
where should we
right.
start? I've got a whole list of warp compliments that I kind of just want to get off my chest. Where, if
Do
anyone
it.
doesn know what warp is, and they're like, "What is warp?" I'm going to give
Wait,
you
what
all
is
of my.
warp?
Oh yeah, what is warp?
You want me
Zach,
to
do you
try
have
to
a fun
describe it?
elevator pitch? Yeah, you got the pitch down. People are at a dinner
Oh
party, and you're
my
like, "Hey, Zach, what do you do?" And you're like, "I
gosh.
do a terminal." And then they're like, "What's a terminal?" And you're like, "Oh, this is going to be difficult."
It's interesting. The terminal is more and more well known. It used to be like I'd have to be like, oh, it's the thing from the hacker movies with the black screen and the green text. I feel like these days, like with all these coding agents that run in the terminal, like it's like my mom could be using a terminal or something. It's like it's very,
Does your
it's
mom
like
use
a
warp?
no, no. I did a. It's funny. I did a live stream with my dad around Father's Day where we coded something in Warp. And I don't think he knows what Warp is still. But yeah, what is Warp? Warp's like it's a we started as a modern terminal. At this point, it's like a terminal that has agents built in. You can use Warp's inbuilt agent, or you can run like Cloud Code or Codex or another agent CLI directly within Warp. It's good for either. We just launched a thing that's like lets you take those agents and move them to the cloud and program against them and automate them. That's called Oz. It's kind of part of Warp too. But yeah, like in general, it's a place where if you're a developer, and it's like we're still primarily targeting developers, but a ton of people use it. It's like a great versatile tool for doing all kinds of cool stuff to ship software. So that's like my pitch.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it speaks volumes. If your dad could use it to build something but doesn't understand what a terminal is, then like pretty
It
good,
is.
right?
We're living in a crazy time. Like people on our team who have zero coding experience are building full replacements for like SaaS apps that we would be buying. Like we use this internal applicant tracking system that one of our people on our talent team built. It's like it's better than the thing that we're also still paying for, which is just it's crazy. And he doesn't know how to code, so this is wild times.
It's
For
super
sure.
exciting that way. I mean, and speaking of like
Yeah,
terminal too, like a lot of people, if
yeah,
they haven't used terminal before, they would pop one open and then try to click text and be like, "Hey, I just
exactly.
want to edit that word right there." And I'm like, "Try warp."
Yeah,
It's like the only one that just does that. You don't.
it's
You have
funny.
to,
It's still our hero feature. It's like you can click the text and you can edit it, and it's like not weird. Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how many
true.
tweets have gone out where you can hold Option and click in terminal, and people just don't know that, or it's too far away. But it's honestly just and it's not just that feature though. It's rich text. It's like
Mhm.
like it's bullet number one on my compliments. Is like edit text like it's 2026, and really it's edit
Thank you.
text like it's 2005. Like it's bizarro how I've memorized Control W to go backwards one word. You know, like all of these hotkeys. I'm like, why did I do that? It should have just been editable text the whole time. So y'all nailed that particular part, but there's so
Thank you.
many
Yeah.
cool features.
It's a surprisingly hard thing to do if you actually want to still everything work like a terminal. Um, and so yeah, sometimes like the simple stuff that makes it more usable goes a long way. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of terminals out there. I believe we are still the only one that truly has that, and it actually works really well because it's not easy to do right.
Yep. And you got split
Yeah.
panes, piece of cake. I didn't have to install a plugin. They just work.
No,
It's awesome. I mean, I use Ghosty at work, which is great,
yeah,
but I have to click around like a dork. I also do the thing where like I've been at home on Warp, and so I come to work and I'm like, la 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 la. Let me talk to an agent, and it's like you're in the terminal, and I'm like, son of a Warp just picks one. Warp knows, like I just type
you
in
like
Warp
that
and it goes.
feature? I think
I
that's an amazing
do.
feature.
I
Yeah,
sometimes exclusively choose agent when I'm like going to be very
yeah.
like terse. But other than that, like as soon as I'm just a couple words in, it's like, oh, this isn't a command. This is something more. And I really like that feature. Yeah.
Yeah.
We changed the way that works today because it was confusing some people. Where you can still do exactly what you've been doing, where you can either type English or you can type terminal command. But if you want a very clear division, you can just be in the terminal. You can be fully in the agent. So we've changed it a little bit, but yeah, that was the philosophy that we've had, and which I still believe is like just talk to your computer and tell it to do things, and who cares if it's terminal commands or English. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say the opposite doesn't necessarily work. Like if I'm
What?
in agent mode and I'm like PNPMI, it's like dope. I'm gonna burn some tokens figuring out how to like PNPM
So this is
install, and I'm like,
this is what annoys people. Yeah, this is what annoys people. So yeah, we've tried to fix that because it can sometimes be like a little too clever for its own good.
Claude does that too,
yeah,
though,
but
right? I swear a ka-ching
oh yeah,
sounds when I type PNPMI into Claude, and it's like, ching. Thank you for that. That was a
We
freebie. We
should.
will totally, yeah.
That's hilarious. We should put some sound effects of the thing just like spending money. It's really funny.
I have put 8-bit sounds in mine, like a lot of cool, like old school video game sounds. And I'm like, hey, Claude, are you done? And just, sounds like Mario hitting a coin. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool.
oh, that's the
Maybe
done
I'll
noise.
warp that in as a April Fool's. The thing just does sound effects every time you
It's just a random one.
burn
Occasionally
money.
you get a fart.
Casino.
You're like,
Yeah.
hey, gross.
It's like when you like mistype a get command, it farts is very funny.
That would be funny.
Every terminal error.
That's coming. There's going to be models that
that's my
tease us
sense
at
of
some
humor.
point. Right now, all the models
Yeah.
are sycophantic, right? They're like, oh, you're so right. I
Yeah.
love you. And I would totally do anything for you. But one day they're going to be all cocky and arrogant. And they're going to be like, no, man, I'm not doing that unless you do this for me. And you're going to be like, what did you just say?
That's actually another like I'm gonna make note of these April Fool's ideas. Having like a really like annoying, arrogant developer as the personality of the thing. Like just read the manual. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Chuck tried to do that to me because we set up OpenClaw for doing some like tasks for the podcast. And he was like, anytime Robbie asked it to do something, like be really sarcastic and dismissive about everything. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to delete you. And it was like, you right. I'm going to stop doing that.
Well, how are you liking OpenClaw? Are you using it a lot?
Yeah, I'm finding it pretty good. It's, like anything AI where if you ask it certain questions, it just falls flat on its face. But if you do other things, it's super magical. Like, it's more on the magical though. Like I've been very pleased. We like tell it to generate episode art. We like have it help us make notes. We do all of our social posts through it and stuff like that. Like it does a
So
lot.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. And it's all running on Railway in the cloud. So we don't have to like host it anywhere. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a little
you
bit
don't want
a
it on
doubter,
your-
but it's been cool.
You don't want it on your primary machine. I'd be careful with that.
No, yeah, I started installing it on my machine like when I first heard about the hype, and I was like, wait a minute, this is not a good idea. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a correction for, I think it was last episode or two of them ago. I said Pi was a model. It's not. Pi is a harness. So Pi is the harness of OpenClaw, not a model underneath it. So everybody, sorry, that was my bad. I swear I read like 4 articles trying to learn what Pi was, and none of them made it that blunt. And so now y'all get that distilled information right out of me.
Yeah, well, pie is like a dessert. It's usually circular, and it has a crust.
It's a conic gradient is how you fill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another warp feature I really love is I go to set stuff up. It's like, I want to try this new thing. And so now I just go to GitHub and I copy the whole README and then I just paste it in warp and I hit enter. And then it just follows the instructions and sets it up and fixes all the damn bugs because something's going to go wrong. It's always like a 2-step process to install this on your computer. And I'm like, sweet. And then it's like 8 steps later. But this handles it. And also warp will do the thing too. If there's an error, even if I asked for like a regular command, like a bash command, and there's an error, warp is proactive and it reads the error and instead it'll fix it. It's like, hey, but it suggests it too. It's like, hey, I'm not just going to go ahead and do this, but I see there's an error, bro. Would you like me to do it?
It's just that feature really got a lot of people to try Warp's AI because it's such an annoying thing when you get an error in the terminal, and it's so useful to just have agent fix it. I'm glad you like
love that one. Oh man, the other one is rich history of recent commands. I'm constantly control Ring in my dorky terminals, and then I have to go through one suggestion at a time or whatever, or search it with a crappy fuzzy search. But not in Warp. I get this like rich pop-up, and I can scroll it like it's a modern app or something and see all of the commands and just click one. I'm like, this is so much better. Like, what? It's great.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I'm not like a fanboy, but I do have a dumb long list of things that it's doing right. I'm like,
otherwise.
You can say stuff you don't like. Like I'm very open to feedback. Warp is controversial, so it's certainly not perfect, but we're trying to make it better, and I like that you like it, and I mean, I spend my entire day in it, and a lot of people do, which is cool.
Yeah, well, one of the conclusions I came to is I was trying all these editors. I still have 8, I think, installed on my machine right now, and all of them just make the terminal bigger every month. And I was like, hey, you know which one did it from the beginning and just knew the terminal was going to drive this shit the whole time? Warp. And they just
We
leaned
are.
right into it. It's awesome.
It is. It is. Yeah. It's a crazy shift that's happened where the terminal is now really. I think it's where you want to be as a developer. Um,
Hmm.
we. Yeah. I mean. We. We've been leaning in like I guess we bet on a good app, and I think we got very lucky in that in the sense that LLMs came along at a time just like a year or two into doing Warp, and we were able to integrate it. And then all these cool coding agents have come out, and we've tried to make Warp work really well with them. But yeah, the terminal is the place now more than the IDE. In fact, I think IDEs are becoming more terminal-like. They're evolving. Like we coined a term in June of last year, which has become like a category called the ADE, which is the Agentic Development Environment, which we
Mm.
see other companies launch. Like there's just like a movement to evolve the IDE into a thing that is built for agents. And it just basically means take the IDE and honestly, make it more like a terminal. um, so yeah.
Yeah, the convergence has been funny, right? So like y'all eventually came out with, well, you had a diff view, then you had a
Yep.
file editor. I was really happy about
Yep.
the file editor because that was like the only reason I opened Zed anymore. I was like, Zed
Yeah.
just boots really fast. You know, Zed and Sublime, I'm just in here for a second. I'm tapping files. I'm not, really digging into files. And so Warp had to add these slightly IDE-like features while everybody else is cutting them off and making the Warp tool,
Exactly. So it's like it's kind of meeting a little bit in the middle, but my feeling on that is like I don't know if you're working with agents, you probably still should be looking at the code at least as a diff. Honestly, I think that's the primary view, not like I almost never just like am navigating through files these days. I don't know how you two work. I code, by the way, it's like I code more than I've ever coded recently because I can be coding while I'm doing other things. Like I have a agent running during this show trying to implement something in Warp. Um, and
Can we
that it's
announce it at the
like
end of the show?
I can show you what I'm working on. I'm working on a feature that's like highly requested, and I'm like it's driving me crazy. It doesn't quite perfectly work. It's like a hard feature, which is when these agents kind of have trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've brought in a few of the code features. We brought in the file tree, which is just like is useful, especially if you want to just like know what the hell the agent is doing.
It's
And we
also
brought
really
in a
grounding
diff.
for me. Like, where am I? Which tab
Where
is
am
the
I?
project
Like,
I'm in? And I'm like, oh, the file tree is like, oh, that's right. That's the project I'm hacking on. Yeah.
yeah, and I think we did it actually in a pretty cool, unique way where it's tied to the terminal session that's focused. So if you have multiple panes open or whatever, and they're in different repos, you focus one repo, you focus another repo, you will get like the file tree will switch based on your context, which is if you're working with agents, I think is how it ought to work. And then we brought in the diff view. And again, that's the other view that I really care about if I'm coding with agents is like, I need to understand what the agent is doing. And, I don't want to like waste my time pushing everything to GitHub and looking at like a diff view on the web. I want to look at the diff right in my app. And then I want to actually give comments to the agent right in my app, or I want to pull in my teammates' comments if they've code reviewed it and have the agent fix those. So those are like the editor features. And I don't know, we tweeted about that file tree and like is very controversial. It's like people are like, you did what in a terminal? You put a what in a like, and it's like, well, yeah, it's like and I'm actually not super hung up on these distinctions. I think a lot of developers are like GUI versus TUI, and it's like I just think I don't know, build the app that fits the workflow. And so some of these things from a IDE makes sense. Like I think the primary thing being a terminal makes a lot of sense. And I'm just I think developers just love debating this shit. But my
Oh yeah.
attitude is I don't know, pick the whatever is going to make it easier for me to build something is what I primarily care about.
Yeah. So I do want to ask, like you just said, you have stuff running right now. You're using
Yeah.
agents a lot.
Yeah.
So what's your personal workflow? Like, does Warp handle it all? Are you doing any kind of like Ralph Wiggum stuff, Gastown, like anything like
Awesome
that, or are you
question.
just yeah?
I've played with all of these. Yeah, I've played with Gastown. I've played with the Ralph Wiggum way of doing orchestration. Right now, Warp is not super opinionated on this, and like what I will tend to do is I'm not that sophisticated. I use the planning functionality of Warp a ton. So my workflow is like, let's say I want to do something hard. I will iterate on a plan. So I'll do like in Warp that's like a slash plan, and that basically does a bunch of research, writes it into a Markdown doc, and I'll do multiple versions of that until I like it, and then I'll kick off the actual coding flow, and then I will run the app, or I'll have the agent run the app. We just actually added computer use in private beta. So like for like a super cool loop is like I can fire off one of these things where I have the plan actually run in the cloud, and then I can have the agent build warp, and I can have it look at warp and tell me if it's right and return screenshots. But then once that's done, I'll try it out myself locally, and then I will code review it if it's good at the end. Um, I'm not doing like we're investigating like a sort of what's the right orchestration, like multi-team thing. Like I don't know if you all have played with the Claude Code Teams thing, or if I'm curious what you think of Gastown. Um, Most of the tasks I'm doing right now, I still am doing like in a single, like with a single plan. But the reason that we just built this orchestration platform is to set ourselves up for all the primitives where you can move all this stuff off your laptop and have multiple agents like truly working on stuff for you. I think that's like by the end of this year or even in 6 months, it's not going to be like you're running a team of Cloud Codes on your laptop. It's going to be like you're running like a team of agents in some cloud environment that is coordinating. And so we're 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 building towards that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Are you all using any of these like orchestration things and having success with them out of curiosity?
Yeah, no, I'm like I tend to Adam experiments with everything and tells me about it, which
Okay.
is fun.
Yeah.
But I tend to be like I'm using what Warp is giving me, or I use Open Code sometimes, just like what it does
Yep.
out of the
Open code's cool.
box.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, you guys figure out what that next step for me should be. I just want to keep typing in this one spot, and like I'm not that opinionated about what gets shipped off to what agents where. Like is I think that's an implementation
So
detail for the products to
that's
figure out.
that's honestly how I think about it too. And I think that that's going to be the future is like your job as a developer is to express your intent as clearly as possible and to like get the overall architecture right of the thing that you want to build in the system. And then to me, I kind of agree. It's going to be an implementation detail of like, is it a Ralph Wiggum? Is it some Gastown? Is it some team of cloud agents or whatever? And so I fully agree with that, what you just said, Robbie.
Yeah, and I think Adam also pared back a lot of stuff. He tried everything and then like deleted it all. You can talk about it, Adam.
I did. Yeah. It's like I must have created 12 agents one day. I sat down and I was like, I'm just going to take all of the career roles I've had in my brain and put them into agents. And then iterate with the model over that particular file. And then I created a bunch of skills that represent things I can do. And then um, of course, I spun up Gastown. I spun up many loops, and I've made many subagents. And that was one of the things I thought was really cool. Is I would be like, all right, I'm going to task this specific agent to do this one specific tool, and then and then I could be like, I'll spawn 4 of them. I'm like, how many can I spawn? And almost every time I did all these things, the thing I got back was like a turd, and I was like, meh, that was a lot of tokens for pretty much
Yeah.
nothing. I was like,
I I think I'm probably not original for saying this, but you know how it is when you have like more engineers on a team, things go more slowly and come out worse. Like because there's all this communication overhead, and it reminds. I don't know if you all have ever read like Mythical Man Month, or if I'm dating myself with that, but it's like kind of the more people you put on a thing, sometimes you get the worst result, and I could very easily see that also happening with agents. Like concurrent doing anything is harder. Communication overhead is hard to manage. Multi-threaded programming is harder than single-threaded programming, and so I don't know. Um, like I said, I just still do like come up with a really, really clear plan, then have an agent implement it. Um, I'll tell you one thing that I'm doing more that actually is cool is we are building automations off of agents. I don't know if you all do any of this. So this actually works really well. So for instance, like when we put out a new release of Warp, we have the agent figure out what should be in the changelog, and there's like a triggered agent that does that. Or we have a lot of problems with fraud and abuse in Warp, so we have like a free AI tier, which is great because it's like we want people to try AI in Warp, but we have there's like companies in China that are that have like farmed accounts and are reselling the AI and Warp to people for for very cheap. It's like it's great. No, I'm not shitting you, and it costs us a lot of money. And so
Yeah.
we've been playing kind of whack-a-mole trying to fix this, and now we just have like an agent running constantly looking for suspicious patterns of like like email signups and queries that don't make sense, and like you could do this with building an actual classifier, which we have too, but it's just like the agent is able to spot novel patterns, whereas like that's fucking awesome, right? So having these types of
Yeah.
things where you can have the agents run as automations, I think is something that's going to be very, very widely adopted because it's so useful. But like the swarm of agents thing, it doesn't quite work yet. So like Warp doesn't natively have that right now. We will when it works, maybe even before it works. But but we it doesn't quite work right now, is my experience.
Yeah, I've
And
tried
also,
Claude Teams. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, how was that for you? Like,
It was better than my past experiences with subagents and
yeah,
swarms and loops. But I think it's because they were controlling the scenario more than just sort of letting things fly free. There was
yeah,
definitely sequential ordering. There was some people needed to finish before others. They knew the reviewer was reviewing each. Like I've been working on a CSS physics library. I started it like 8 years ago. Now that I have
oh,
agents, I'm like,
that's
hell
cool.
yeah! It's not like I knew fucking math. Jeez, like all I wanted was a result, and so which is perfect. It's what you're describing is where we're at today. It's like if you can describe a result and write tests for it and write a spec and a plan, then boom, these things will go execute your idea. And I put a team on it, and I had a devil's advocate, a physicist, a CSS specialist, a TypeScript pro, and like two other
This
roles.
is
And
awesome.
I got a great result out because what I wanted was additive relative physics, where like if something is heavy flying through the air and you redirect it, it doesn't just immediately change direction. That's what all UI animations do today. They go, I'm up and now I'm going to the right. And I'm like, no, if you were going up, you need to take your momentum. And when you got shoved right, you carry that shit forward and it makes you arc. And the arcing
Yeah,
needs to do some stuff. So, and I got to do all that with the team, and the team produced a better result than my individual prompting had gotten me so far. And I think it's because I got to put all the brains into a scenario like a quorum, and then Claude kind of guided it through, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I did have good experience with teams. I'm here to say that was good.
that's really interesting and very encouraging. I think that's cool.
And that was
So
Claude in Warp, and the Claude integration in Warp is so
yeah, I
sick.
know.
Anyway, it's like
I know it's I mean that is super cool. Yeah, I mean like I said, we're trying to figure out the best way to do the same thing. I do think we want to be just like a general philosophy that we're kind of leaning into now is sort of being multi-harness or just like supporting these different harnesses or different like we've supported different models for a while. But we also like people like using these harnesses. People have their own subscriptions to these harnesses is another big thing for us. So we are actively trying to make Cloud Code good in Warp and Codex good in Warp,
yep, I've
but also
very
have
much
our own thing.
appreciated it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think developers like to choose their own stuff. I think that's like a good philosophical direction for us to go is like support the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you never know, like the other one could be better. So it's fun to try the other one sometimes and making that
Exactly.
easy.
I think that's actually a nice place that we sit in the stack where it's like, okay, this week Cloud Teams is good. I'm sure Codex is going to release some crazy thing next week, and hopefully Gemini at some point will be truly competitive here. And even more hope open source or like open weight models will be competitive at some point. So yeah, we kind of want a position where we benefit as the general state of the art gets better.
Yeah.
I
So I
w-
have
Go ahead. Yeah, do it.
no, you sounded like you had something you want to say.
I was just going to burn through my list because it's killing me. And then I was like,
Okay.
once it's out of my system, we'll just move on. I want to hear about
All right. Well,
Oz and whatever else.
I have another real question, and then we'll come back to your list of compliments in a second. So you had posted, I don't know how long ago this was because time is super like fuzzy for me. It was at least a few months ago, I feel like, that something about like, how do I get my senior engineers to start with AI?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? So yeah, so
course.
I'm wondering if you feel the same way about that now. Like, do you think the pendulum has swung now? Because I think when you posted that, I was like, oh, I'm a senior engineer. I like coding. It's fun. And now I'm like, like it's fun just to type stuff in and see what you get out. So I think I'm embracing it more. And I wonder if you're seeing that or how you feel these days.
Oh, it's totally changed. I think like when I wrote that, I took a bunch of shit for it because yeah, people are like the AI wasn't that awesome at that point. And I think that on my like I took shit for it on my own team, which is great, but it was like they were like, I can do it faster and I can do it better. Why should I be using this? Like, why should I even be using it? And today, the best users of AI on our team are the senior engineers, who are in the best position to wield it successfully because they understand the architecture and what the result should look like. And the people who get in trouble using AI on our team are the new engineers to the team who haven't learned the code base. And so, and who are like over reliant on it in a way, who like can't judge the quality of its outcome. And then the senior engineers, I think, are finally getting to a point where they're like embracing it as another thing in their toolkit, and they're like coming up with like novel, interesting ways of using it, which is like an amazing thing to see. They're like, well, if you're going to build this feature, and I do this all the time now. I have the AI build like a harness app for it where like I'm building the thing I'm building in the background is markdown table rendering in Warp, which is a common request. And so I'm like, get me canonical images of GitHub markdown table rendering so that I can compare them to it as I build it. And so it's like you come up with like novel ways of using the thing where it's like, I never would have done that in the past because it would have taken me way, way too long. But if you have this chainsaw of a tool, you're like, shit, this is awesome. I can actually do a better job making the code and making sure it's right. So I do think it's really changed. I don't know. What do you all think?
Yeah, I was gonna like, I don't know, within maybe a few months ago, I feel like I was still shitting on AI. Like, hey, this is not doing as good as I am. And it just rapidly, like, I was like, wait, this is so good. I don't know what happened,
So good.
but it got so good. Like, just the other day, like a couple days ago, I feel like now, I was like, hey, so I maintain Shepherd. It's like a tour library for looking around a website, showing people all the features and stuff. And I was like, hey, this is in Svelte, and Svelte 5 is hard. And it's also bigger for some reason. It has like a bigger runtime. So I don't want that. And I was like, how about Solid.js? And it was like, cool, done. And then I was like, how about just no framework? Because that's even smaller. And it's like, cool, done. So I shipped it. Like,
It just
like,
ported your thing to pure
Yep.
JS.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
fucking
like
awesome.
no bugs. Like I think I had to prompt it a few times. Like it got a couple things wrong. I had to be like, oh, like that thing's wrong. But like otherwise, flawless.
Yeah, I've been porting mermaid.js. Do you know that? You know, mermaid diagrams into our Rust framework. And it's doing decently well with that, but not perfect. It's pretty hard. And it's like, and I think part of the problem is like our UI framework is a custom thing, and so it does way better on a non-custom thing because it will keep forgetting the context of our thing. But yeah, that's like if someone had like, you know, we've been had this request for a while of like render mermaid diagrams in Warp, And that would have just been like, that's gonna be like a 6 month project for someone or more. And it would have been like, no way. Or it would have been like, yeah, we're gonna ship a whole like web view in Warp to make that happen because there's no possible way that we're gonna be able to do that. And like the rendering I have so far, it's not perfect, but it has all the flowchart types pretty much perfect. It doesn't have like all like Mermaid's a huge thing. So it's like you would attempt something you would never attempt, I think is another, it's just like the cool lesson there.
Yep,
Yeah,
that
for
sums
sure.
up my experience too. I'm at this
Yeah.
point almost running out of ideas. Like I'm now hacking into backlogs of issues where I've had issues open. I released features. I'm like addicted. It's also a little unhealthy. I think I was talking about this
It's
last
fun,
week. It's
right?
like it's fun, but I'm
Yeah.
also like just one more hit,
It's
just one more
gambling.
prompt,
Yeah.
just one more prompt. I'm like, hey,
It is
hold on,
it is a dopamine thing, totally. Because like you come back and you want to see if it worked, and it's like, oh, I know, I'll reprompt it to do X and let it get going. Yeah, that's a good point. It is really fun.
It's it's super fun. And so yeah, the limit it's like I just added search to the whiskey.fm site. I just opened up an agent and used my voice. I was like, add search, do it the Astro way. It was something really lame like that. And the thing is too, is like I'm noticing that if my prompt, and I know that my prompt has pre-existing learning that it could do, because it's just an autocomplete engine. If the Astro way is known, therefore, I'm pretty confident that I ask it for the Astro way of doing search, it's going to figure out a really great static site generated way to do it. And so, yeah, Zach,
Yep.
you're in the opposite camp where you're like, I've got a big ass pile of custom
Yeah,
code.
it's like
But go ahead and try
we
to do
didn't have
something
this
inside of there, and
like
it's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
custom million line Rust app is like a real disadvantage for us from a velocity perspective at this point. You know, it's cool. It like performs really well. I like Rust a lot, but yeah, if what you're trying to do is like accurate autocomplete, it's not to our advantage to have some super big custom code base. But
Yeah,
I
Shopify's in the
don't.
same boat. Millions of lines of TypeScript, and it's like it chokes all day long. You really got to dial down like what your expectations of these models are in a big
Yeah.
code base, because you have context rot where like the more context you give
Yep.
it, it just starts to drift because it doesn't know which part it's supposed to autocomplete. There's
Yep.
poisoning as you try to give it more information, but really all you do is confuse it. So yeah, these are the things we're trying to learning as like a senior developer. I was telling Robbie earlier, like feel like I'm now coding the coders. Like I used to code and make myself a task list, but now I sit a higher level and I'm
It's like meta coding. We should
yeah,
coin a
which
term.
Oz is pretty much kind of sounds like that's what you're getting towards. Is
That's what we're getting
I've got
towards.
cloud crons that I can code. I've got crons I can code. I've got automations I can code, and so all of this stuff becomes very programmatic. And now I'm sitting at a scenario where I'm thinking more in while loops because I want acceptance criteria. That's what Wigum is kind of doing good for people. Is it's like making them think about acceptance criteria. Start with your
Yep.
tests. Start with what does success look like, and then just let things autocomplete until they stumble upon an answer.
Yep. Yep.
I did a
Yeah, it
warp
makes.
loop. I
Yeah.
want to tell you about at some point. The warp loop
Tell
was
me.
I was having warp helping me write a script that the script yields to the host agent. So it's like if you call a bash script and then it asks the host agent to answer a question, which it then takes to the bash script and then does some response. Well, I wasn't getting very good responses. And so what was cool is I had Warp invoke the bash script, which called out to Warp to make an agentic answer. And then it would evaluate its own answer because the answer came back to the script and console logged it. And it'd be like, that was a shitty ass answer. And I'm like, yeah, it was. And so it's like improving answer. It was in a self-healing loop. And
Yeah.
I just called it a warp loop. Anyway, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is one thing that we're really leaning into is just like the programmability of these agents. Because it just gets recursive, where it's like the agent can control the agent can see like that is the idea with Oz. It's all programmatic. So our agent can now like programmatically define sandboxes where agents should run. It can launch those agents. It can read those agent statuses. It can like feed them back in. And so it's like what we're trying to do is create the building blocks for whatever the like multi-agent system is going to be. And it's all like these agents are so good at programming that doing it all programmatically feels like the right way to do it. We do have some other crazy features in Warp. I don't know. Have you used the feature where Warp can run full screen terminal apps for you, or like run? Do you know what I'm talking about? Warp can
No.
like.
No.
This is a cool. This is like a
Pulling up my
crazy
Warp
feature.
instance now.
So in any full screen terminal app, you can hit. I want to say it's command. If you're on the latest version, we just pushed a new version today that has this. You can at the bottom. There's like a tiny little footer that says like engage the agent, and you can have the agent do things in your full screen app. So like a really good example would be the agent like using like your MySQL REPL or your Postgres REPL or your Node REPL. But what's cool is like if you're someone who's building TUI apps, you can have Warp use those TUI apps for you. And so I've been building TUI apps lately and having Warp just natively like use them. So it's like a form of computer use that's built into
Is
the
it Warp
terminal.
Vision? So Warp is getting a stream of the screen and then it's interpreting what's there and you're giving a prompt to then it's sort of acting on your behalf?
Correct. But it's not computer vision. It's actually because Warp's the terminal, we know like the actual character grid that's being rendered on the terminal. Does that make sense? We do also have the computer vision approach, but like the actual text-based approach is kind of more accurate than the computer vision approach at the moment. So I don't know. This shit is just crazy.
It's wild. Yeah.
I could not tell you what it's going to be like at the end of this year. The one thing I'm sure of is it's going to be very different than what it is right now.
I just feel like my computer is not ready for this shit. The fan on both of my computers is running all day. I'm telling you, the cables that are plugged into these are just going to be, they're pissed at me. They're just like, could you stop prompting things? And I'm like, no, I have 8 running and I'm probably going to do 2 more. So you need to shut up and you just need to deal with it. And so that's kind of one of my predictions is we get it off our machines. Like my machine is obviously a bottleneck, you know?
This is the other thing that Oz is for. It's just like, oh, you're running 20 Claudes or whatever on your machine or 20 Warp agents. You can't do anything. It's like we're running out of disk space because like all of like my cargo build caches are all full. I can't have like 5 more repo clones. And so I think that's like a primitive that ever like it's going to get off your laptop this year. And I wrote something on Twitter on this and LinkedIn the other day where it's just like everyone's been talking forever about like moving development off your laptop into the cloud. And there's never been like a really strong reason in my opinion. But this will be the reason that actually people have to do it because you just can't run so many of these things on your freaking laptop and you want to do more of them at once. So I think this year, I fully agree. I mean, that's like what we're trying to build towards. It's just like
building Chrome at Google was crazy. It took 24 hours sometimes to build Chrome on your machine. Like if it was a fresh pull and it was just wild. And so no, you're just like, that's not viable. I'm going to go to the cloud where there's 100 and whatever gigs of RAM. And then it still takes 4 hours, right? And you're just like, geez.
I'm imagining the CI times on that of like, 24 hours later, lint error. Like
that's a really interesting observation, actually. Like the same things that sucked for humans doing development still do kind of suck, like with an agent. Like I don't like the big bottleneck in my development right now, a lot of the time is just like Rust compiling. And like having agents doesn't help that much with that. It's like there's still like these bottlenecks in the whole process that having agents is just like having more smart developers. It doesn't actually solve some of these like infrastructure problems that still need solving.
That speaks to how big your app is, that your problem is Rust compiling. Like that's
I mean, it's not not 4 hours, it's more like a minute, but it's like if you're building a UI app, I miss having JavaScript where it's just like you just refresh the page. That's nice.
Right.
You can go faster.
Yeah.
Like that feedback loop matters.
One of the things I like about Warp is I can name my tabs. And the reason that I know I can name my tabs in Terminal and I can name my tabs in Ghosty. It's 3 clicks in Ghosty, and it's I made a function in my terminal, but in Warp it's 1. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because I have so many. I use a tab like a project. Yeah. And so I have 6 tabs right now, and the tabs are named as the project. And then I get into that tab, and then I have a whole bunch of split panes. And this is good for me because a bunch of shit takes a bunch of time, and I have to wait. And I'm like, all right, while I'm down, I'm switching tabs. I'm going to go prompt 3 more agents, and while they're off doing whatever it is, I'm going to go back to. So then I have this. We are in a new scenario though, where we're spawning so many of these. My brain can't comprehend the amount of threads that I've spun up. And so even if I write a good spec, maybe that's why specs are even going to be the future is because if I can focus on a spec and get
Yep.
that oriented tight enough and then relinquish a lot of control, that frees me to go do other things while they work. And so then I can multi-thread even more. I don't know if I want to do that, but anyway, that's my little thought.
The other thing, if you're running some other, so if you're running warp agents, will natively give you notifications when stuff needs your attention, which is nice. If you're running a different agent, we now have an API in warp where you can have it fire notifications if that's like annoying to you, so that it can pull you in when it's stuck or whatever. Anyway, just throwing that
I
out
wrote
there.
a custom Claude hook because I liked it in Warp and I wanted it
Oh.
in Claude. And so and then I did a custom chime. I did the 8-bit chimes. But yeah, I want to be notified because a lot of times
Yeah.
I get lost and I forget that I even asked it to do something, right?
But it can hook it into our like in-app notifications. So if you're in one tab or whatever, it can show you like, oh, this other tab needs your attention. If you're really running a ton of these. Anyhow, we're trying. I think making the whole thing hackable is like a thing I'm very into right now. Of like, how do you? And it's like not just the cool thing about making an app hackable at this point is that it's hackable not just for like a human, it's hackable for the agent, which I think is really fun. And so it's like, well, how do you let the agent know how to do it? You just publish a skill, and then all of a sudden, any agent that has access to that skill knows how to like hack into all these APIs and Warp or whatever to like do cool shit. Are you all using skills?
Oh.
Are you liking skills? Where are you at with skills?
Yes, I was just going to ask, related to skills, like,
yeah,
are there plans to like learn skills on the fly? Like how OpenClaw can be like, make up a skill, it's going to do this, instead of like really actually caring about what the content of the skill is and handwriting it, just being like, I want to do this. I want you to even think of what skills you might need and just like write them all to random files for me. Like, I feel like that's the missing piece maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had like 100% of the time if I'm making a skill, I have the agent do it. But the key thing that we're missing, and maybe the other coding agents and maybe OpenClaw is doing a very cool job of, is like it's memory. Really, is like I think what it is. It's like, oh, you learned how to do something, record this, and have an indexed way, so the next time you do something similar, that's possible. And so 1,000,000% we're leaning into that. The again, the thing we're trying to do with Oz, which is it's for individual developers, but it's also for companies, is that anytime an agent runs, it records 100% of what it did. And so that is like available. Whereas I feel like right now, most people are running this shit locally, and it's like you're hacking something into your file system, you're generating some markdown file someplace or whatever. But my concept on this is like auto tracking of these things. So there's like an automatic repository that's being built up of the agent runs so that you can do memory on them, which is, we're working on all this. Like there's just going to be some crazy hive mind thing. Like I've been thinking a ton about this as well. Like what do you actually need? What's the ideal setup for an agent to work at like on like big things across a company? This is maybe half baked, but I think it's just like some gigantic distributed file system where there's like some way of like agents, because I think these things do work well on files. It's just you don't want the files on the local machines. And so, Google, we used to have this thing like GFS where it was just like global distributed file system. And so I think that's going to be like the core data protocol for really enabling agents, is that every organization should have something like that. And I'm just like,
I love it. It reminded me, there's some people that they spun up, they wanted to make an app. So let's say you want to make an app. How do you find all the features that people want? Well, you spin up 500 moms as agents, and you give them a persona, and then you have them use the app. And then those agents all report back. It's great. So you want iteration.
It's brilliant.
It's semi-brilliant. I mean, some of it's cool. I'm like, that's a pretty cool thought experiment. Although agents aren't people.
I would have never thought of that.
But still, they're like testing their apps across all of these simulated people to get to the core of what a good app would be. So yeah, you don't ship V1, you ship V1 to a shitload of agents. You let them
It's like
use your app.
that's
Yeah.
your beta testers, or
That's your beta
like,
testers, and you loop in there until everybody starts reporting good reports about your app, right? And then you think maybe at that point, if you go to real people, it'll be better. And it's just uncharted territory. Well,
Can't
I
be
don't know.
worse, maybe.
Yeah.
we need a little bit better computer use for that to work for Warp. Like I don't know. Have you all tried playing with any of the computer use models?
No.
No.
So so like the model providers have these beta models which do computer use where it basically is like it's like looking at your screen from a computer vision standpoint.
Oh, I did this at
and
Google. Yeah, I used Gemini doing this a couple times.
and it can like click and zoom, and when that gets good, we will literally just be like have these things constantly testing our app, because like our app has all sorts of edge cases and bugs or whatever but you're going to get feedback loops that are fully agent driven. I don't know.
It's crazy. I was learning how to use a ScreenFlow or whatever. I spun it up and I was like, hey, I need to do this one task in ScreenFlow. And it was watching my screen. It was like, yeah, click over here and do this. And I was like, holy shit, that's right. Yeah, I would have normally gone to Google and read a blog, but you watched my screen and told me. I was like, this is wild. I also watched Japanese CSS videos using that computer vision technology because it would live translate what it heard and saw. And so I didn't have to rely on crappy captions. I got agentic translation, which was really cool.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
What a world.
I don't know. I mostly find it exciting, and like maybe 20% find it scary, but I mostly find it exciting.
That's how we are in the show. We are constantly going, oh, that's really freaky, but also I need to stay employed. And some of it's fun. So we're all toiling with how this pulls on our heartstrings and our brains and our wallets. And that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Every other episode is like, I hate this. I love this. I hate this. I love this. Yeah. It's unavoidable. It's inevitable at this point. But yeah, I mean, I've been very pleased with it. It unlocks so much stuff that I would never had the time to bother with. Like we're doing a conversion, like we were trying to update Ember data so we could use like the latest warp drive stuff instead of like this model fragments thing we were using. And one of my coworkers just like gave Claude like access to it for the weekend. He was like, hey, make this work with the latest Ember data version. It's like, cool. And it did it. And like the maintainer of Ember data, who I'm good friends with, was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. That would take like months and months, like whatever. And it did it. So like, man, it's a crazy time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy.
I have a silly question for you.
Sure.
How do you say CLI? Do you say CLI or CLI?
No. I say
Nice,
CLI.
okay. Yeah. Some
Or
people are saying
Clyde.
CLI these days. And I'm like, CLI? Ew.
I've never in my life would I say. Do you say TUI or TUI?
I do say GUI and TUI. Yeah.
GUI and TUI,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I usually
Sound like
say
the
TUI.
ducks. What were the ducks that were like that? Huey, Dewey, and Huey, Dewey, and...
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
Sounds right.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
sounds like we need to turn those into agents.
Yeah. So
A feature-
outside
go ahead.
of all this AI stuff, do
Yeah.
anything fun other than working in AI? What are your hobbies?
So I have a 2-year-old son. And that takes a lot. Do
Yeah.
you guys have kids?
7 and 9.
Yes. Yeah, I have a.
And he's got 3.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 4-year-old, and then I have 9-month-old twins.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I can't even imagine.
in the
that.
thick of
it. Yeah, so I have a 2-year-old son who, I'm not working. I'm working really hard, just to be clear. This is probably the hardest I've ever worked in my life because the space that we're in is moving so fast and it's so competitive.
Yeah.
So I am working a lot. There's stuff I like doing. So I live in New Mexico near a ski area, and so my wife's a ski instructor, and so try to go ski. Although it's been a pretty bad year for snow, unfortunately.
Yeah, same in Seattle. It's been terrible.
I play guitar, so I see that you're a musician.
Music is greater than all of this stuff. Yep.
I play golf sometimes. I like to read. Not that I'm, not doing. I don't have any like crazy interesting hobbies here. I'm a football fan. I like the sports bet. I don't know if you all like that.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah. Did you watch Super Bowl?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Did you guys?
Of course,
Yeah.
it's my
Yeah.
home
I
team. I had to.
unfortunately. Oh yeah. 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 I unfortunately bet like all of my bets were around like people getting touchdowns, and then like everyone was like, you know what, we're not going to get touchdowns in this game.
We're just gonna kick it. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's from Boston, so we like I don't know. The Patriots got their asses kicked. That wasn't that fun to watch. Seahawks are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's it though. I don't know. I'm working.
Yeah, you're
But
working
I
and you're a
was
dad. It's
working.
enough. Yeah.
It's
It's like
super.
working doubles.
It's really fun. I'm really competitive, and so to me, it's like a big strategy game or something where I think we are like by default underdogs because we're startup and like Anthropic has a gajillion dollars and Google has 10 times that and OpenAI has a lot of money. And so it's like a super duper engaging, fun strategy game. And I really love building stuff. I love like using the thing that we're building. So I don't know, like I'm probably working an unhealthy amount these days, but I'm just like constantly thinking like I'm being honest. It's either that or my kid, and like sometimes the kid doesn't sleep, and that makes everything hard. And so I don't know, but I'm really trying to make Warp successful, and it's so fun to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think there's something to be said for like, I feel like Anthropic did so well because everyone kind of hated OpenAI. They're like, you're the big, giant. Oh yeah, we're gonna be this like goodwill, like nonprofit, whatever. And then oh, just kidding. And like, I don't know, just a lot of weird moves. And I feel like Anthropic is starting to behave that way. Like they're starting to be like, you know what, we have money now. Like, no, you can't use our key on something else or like whatever. So I feel
Walled
like there's
garden.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's room for someone else to come in again and be like, you know what? We're the ones that like you should probably use because that they're not treating everyone well.
I mean, I have to be careful how I talk about all this stuff because we work really closely with Anthropic and OpenAI and Google. But I do feel like there's some advantage to not being one of those and having and giving developers choice for sure.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, I've said this for a while. Like, I think at some point, I'm not convinced that you're going to need to be like the frontier model for coding to get like really good results. And at that point, like the moat of those companies, um, it can't just be like that they have really good models. And this is why they're moving so aggressively into giving everyone apps and trying to like lock, they're really just trying to lock everyone into their apps right now. Um, and I don't know. It's like I feel like if there was, this is really hard for Warp. Like we have to pay API prices, and they give people AI tokens for way cheaper on these subscriptions that everyone has. And I do feel like if it were a level playing field in terms of just what product you like more, I mean, I feel like our product is like right there, if not better. And so it's a lot of cost competition. I feel like our product is better. Like I like it, but it's a lot of cost competition. That's tough for us. And like, would I be happy if there was an open source model that was like at the quality of Opus or the latest GPT? I would be really happy with that.
Seems like acquisition's kind of a dope exit though, right? I mean, you've got the coolest, best, in my opinion, the one that's pretty far ahead of everybody else. Why don't they just buy their way into the future? And so just consume you, then the competition's gone and you win. I don't know if that's what you want though. So I'm just kind of like,
It's not it's honestly, it's like, look, I'm like pragmatic. Thank you. By the way, thank you for that compliment. I do feel like our thing is like we've been ahead on a bunch of stuff. So it's like,
you're way ahead of people. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know. I want us to just, there's nothing I would rather do than continue to like build this product. And so I've worked at a very big company, like, like you started the episode, I was leading a big project at Google, and Google is an awesome place to work. But to me, it's so much more fun and interesting to try and, not have all that bureaucracy to like wade through and just like be able to build shit every day. And you know, we're like a 50-person company, and we're doing well. Just to be clear, it's like people really love the thing that we're building, which is amazing, and like we're growing really fast and stuff. But yeah, I'm not at all actually aiming for like being acquired. I would much rather build this shit for a long time. If
Awesome.
I'm, you know, if I'm able to, yeah.
Cool. Well,
I'm
we
glad you
are
guys
at
like
time.
Warp. That really makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, we love Warp.
I didn't even finish
I've
my
been using
compliment
Warp.
list. It's just sitting here.
Yeah. Been using Warp
That's
for
cool.
years. Yeah. Like before any of this AI stuff happened.
I mean, that's it. It's like if you don't even like the AI stuff, Warp is really good. So it's like we're not.
Yeah.
I don't even want to force that onto people. So, but I do think we have really, really amazing AI shit, and you should try building like some automations in Oz, and try like programming agents through it. Try like you can even use Oz to spin up whatever. If you want to use Cloud Codes or whatever, you can use it to like run 20 Cloud Codes in the cloud, and it's like you can have half of them run Codex and half of them run Cloud Code, and so. You know, I would love any feedback because I do think this is the future. It's just like let these agents run more agents and let them like do smart shit and don't do it necessarily on your laptop and let it all be programmable. Anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy world. I feel like the biggest barrier for me is I don't get to use it at work. So I'm having trouble.
Is that like a
Same.
security thing? Probably.
I don't know. I'm a little bit scared always to try to like introduce new tools. Because yeah, the security thing and just like IBM is very like, hey, you have to use IBM stuff. Like they're making their own VS Code AI fork, just like everyone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
IBM
so
has
it's
reached
like,
out to talk to like interesting. That is one thing that I do not think is the future, by the way. It's like the
forking
like
VS Code over and over.
74th fork of VS Code. Like that's a crazy strategy.
Yeah.
And Adam, are you not allowed to use it?
Shopify folks asked for it and it was declined after a security inspection, and I don't know why. That was also a year ago or so, and so we could ask for another.
We might
know.
try again. You know, Toby is a small angel investor in Warp, but I don't. I think he's got so many other things on his mind.
He's writing in agents all day. That dude is greenfielding himself into apps. He must have. He is an animal. It's awesome. So I don't know what his terminal setup. He's always got multiple panes. I think he's running TMUX somewhere, but I'm like, why not Warp at this point? You know, like yeah.
Once I hear the word TMUX, I'm like, we're probably not winning that person over. But it's like, no, it's like and to be clear, we will probably almost definitely invest in doing a like TMUX control mode thing in Warp. But I'm also kind of just like, TMUX is such a crazy thing. It's like, oh, you want to run a terminal within your terminal? Okay, run TMUX. or you could use a thing where you don't have to do that. But some people really they like. I get it. It's like hackable and it's flexible and it's no shade to TMUX. We're gonna support TMUX this year in a better way in Warp. But those do tend to be the harder people for us to get into Warp because it's like the people who've customized their terminal the most have the most friction moving to a thing that's like works a little
like if
bit
you're
different.
on Arch Linux using NeoVim, maybe not for you.
I mean, we do weirdly. We have those people, and like, but it's not really our bread and butter.
No, and I think that the target audience is the people that want that, but can't and don't have the time to figure it out. I mean, that's half of my list here. Is
I don't
like
wanna learn any
no
of that.
no fuss multi-pane, no fuss power
Thank you.
line. You know, no fuss. It's all no fuss. You basically get all the things that people get in a turbo-powered Z shell mixed with TMUX, mixed with a very rich
Correct.
IDE, and that's it. And you downloaded it and it's ready. So like if you love config hell, enjoy your own hell.
Some people do though. Some people do.
Some people do. I mean, I've been
Can
I'm guilty.
Can I put that quote on our website? If you love config hell, Warp not for you.
Seriously, it's like it's all the people that wish they were the hacker that had the TMUX set up, but just doesn't have the time. And so just download Warp and you're done.
Thank you. Yeah, agree.
Yeah. Could not have said it better myself. We are at time. Anything we missed that you want to cover before we're done, Zach?
No, this was awesome. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was fun to do. It's a more fun than normal podcast for me. I do a
We're
number
not a
of
family
podcasts
show,
where-
you know. You can
Yeah,
say
not a
cuss
family
words,
show.
which is great. You know, like I don't know why all these dev shows want to be a family show too. We're like, come on, it's devs.
I like this
Yeah.
one, and I've done one other one I really liked was 20 VC. Do you ever listen to that? It's a
Oh
Harry
no,
Stuck.
maybe I will
took
now.
a-
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's pretty fun too. So I like being on the podcast where I can like drink something and have some fun. This was great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave some ratings and reviews. We appreciate it. And we